Ooh. Oh, let's see if we go to scene one. Okay, let's get the vigil show off. And we're going to do a removal. All right, uh-oh. Because I don't know if I can, oh, I guess I can. Oh well, here we go. We're going to be putting up the Sleazak radio emblem. Now usually, oh, I do, that happens to me every time. It's most amusing. Well, where is it? Oh, there, it did make it up there. Yay. All right. Okay, let's go now over to the Facebook portion of getting a... Bam. Poop. Okay. And what we have... We got Sleazak on the White Man 10, 13, 18. And bam. Okay, host Richard Sleazak explains white men and the coming that's what it is, general election. Okay, let's get to the start broadcasting portion. All right, yeah, Richard Sleazak here. I'll swing a camera over my way, get some light on the subject, because we're going to have a good time. I'm just going to have a rant. I'm not sure if it'll even last an hour, but I'm going to have a good time. So we have the white, and we got the plain, and we got the green. So we'll just turn them all on and bring them all up, and we're going to have a word about, from our sponsors, and get right on into it. Or I'm just going to do something a little bit. Sleazak on the White Man 10, 13, 18. I'm just going to start the show. We're going to come right up and start the show. This is going to be a little different. Okay, that would help that it's about right there. And today is -10 -13, and we'll give this Sleazak on the White Man 10 13/18. Oh well. File name. Wait a minute. Could I just... Okay, I can't do that. Okay, what the heck? It's my look at it today coming right up in... We got 10:05, 10:06 p.m. Okay, 3, 2, 1. The name contains illegal characters. File names not permitted to have any of the following characters. Oh, slashes. Oh, okay. Okay. That's a rescue because 18 October 13 and just put SLE Slezak on the white man and get started with this. We do have 10:06 p.m. here at the KXVS.org, the voice of Stockton, with the voice of Stockton coming through. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting right to it. First, I'm going to tell you that's our sponsors here at the Voice of Stock coming through to you on KXVS.org, the Voice of Stockton. And we have wonderful sponsors for our station. Hotel Furniture Liquidators at 1648 North Shaw Road. And that's nearest cross street is East Fremont, just east of 99. Furniture for your home. Books, yeah, you can get them at the Miracle Mile Bookstore, 2210 Pacific Avenue, and Doors Book Recyclery, 2310 Pacific Avenue. Plastics, do you need the material? That is sheets, rods, and tubes. Custom Plastics and Signs has it. Do you need them to build a display? They can. They'll fabricate. They love to fabricate. They make signs, such as the political ones you see. Stencils, vehicle and boat graphics. Oh, yeah. Make that thing special. Make that vehicle or boat special. T-shirts and business cards printed at Custom Plastics and Signs, 326 East Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard, here in Stockton. Computer on the fritz. Call Sarfraz Khan in the 209-922-1879 for Millennium Computer Repair. Hardware and software repair parts, replacement computers, you got it at very reasonable prices. Millennium Computer Repair, 209-922-1879. Habitat for Humanity Restore with new stuff arriving daily. Building accoutrements, doors, windows, HVAC, electrical, paint, wallboard, tools, equipment at 4933 West Lane, 100 yards south of March Lane is the Restore. Habitat for Humanity. Open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. And from mid-morning to early evening. Tender donuts we bake fresh daily, 1304 East Hammer Lane, Chanrith Sam, Civ Sam. Doors open 7 days a week, 4:30 in the morning, and on Sundays 5:30. Yeah, you could bring those dozens of donuts to early church. T-shirt printing and business cards at Leaders, 500 East Lodi Avenue, Suite A, and at Garfield in Lodi. Those are our sponsors. Our show this evening is going to be very opinionated, not the opinions of the Peace and Justice Network, nor of the KXVS.org, nor of the voiceofstockton.org, but pretty much simply political commentary, facts. Facts. I do like facts. I don't like to do stuff without facts. Beliefs, I do those on Sundays. This is political philosophy. I am a Democrat. I've been on the Central Committee coming up in January for 30 years. I've been active with the party for 30 years. So started out with the Dukakis campaign and just continuing to march. Let me get some things squared away here. And let me get some scratch paper out. Start with our show log, since those are very good to have. And, well, what the heck? Yes, we'll bring out the whole clipboard, and plus get that going, and that's get a little of that, and continue to dig. I don't know if we'll be in there, and oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I gotta have those notes. Yeah, just bringing things out. Bringing things out I've been carrying for a while. Ideas that will drive some people wild. Oh my, what do we got? Oh yeah. Nope. And knowing me, I could well have left my, okay, no, I think there it is. Oh yeah, baby, right in the central. Yeah. Uh-oh. What's that doing in here? New York City, that's where my dad's family. Yep, my daddy's family is from there. And I got fondness for it. Relatives are interred. Oh yeah, grandma and uncles and aunts. So, yep, New York City, some of it's in me. Uh-oh, must be something, maybe a liberal. After all, Daddy, Grandpa was a shop steward on the IRT. Uh-oh, looks like my noise has been getting a little low. Oh well. Got some water bottles and away we go. All righty-us. And that's all we need. And looks like we got 10:15 here at the Voice of Stockton. And the title of tonight's show is Slezak on the White Man. 10/13/18 edition. Oh well. Yeah. Because gonna be a little bit about the Democratic Party and the white man. And since I'm a white man in the Democratic Party, 1 in 5. Yep, I'm a 1 in 5. I'll be explaining these things as we go along through this evening's show of Slezak on the White Man. And, well, what the heck? Gonna get a sip of water, and we got the four-way look at things. I'm just having a wonderful time because it doesn't have to be all that disciplined. Heck. You know, Rush Limbaugh gets paid millions and he does opium. My God. life-destroying force. But let's get these microphones up so they can pick things up. And tonight's show, KXVS show log, is on Slezak, on the white man, and that's 10/13/18, and that's the title. And we started at 10:06 p.m. and we did the sponsors right off. Then commentary. Not station opinion. Yeah, so with that, I did some naughties and have been a political activist for 30 years. And last year, did a show on this. We did, let me get this camera over here. No, that camera's over there. And this one needs to be more this way. All righty. And that was on Whitey and Mr. Trump. And I brought out that 40% of white men voted for Trump. You know, there's 76 million, and holy Toledo, 30 million of them voted for Trump, and about half that number, 16 million, voted for Hillary. About 27 million didn't vote, and about 3 million or so voted for Gary Johnson. Gork. Not a good scene. About another million voted for other third-party candidates who weren't as whacked. Ian McMillan being of a pretty sound mind, an old moderate Republican, almost a man out of time. And since then, I'm looking at we had 30 million vote for Trump, and that was back on 11/6, 11/8, 16. And yeah, they really did vote for him. There were a bunch of other people who tried to vote. They couldn't vote. See, part of what I've learned since then is that there were 200,000 people who went to vote in Wisconsin. They couldn't vote. They lacked adequate ID. Well, there were about 20 other states that still have rather draconian laws on the books about voter ID and making it hard to get the right ID, such as Alabama, where you got to go to the DMV. And in the 10 predominantly black counties, the DMV's only open 20 hours a week to get the proper identification to vote. Here in California, you can take your PG&E bill, among other things. Library card. Military ID. Quite good enough. California driver's license. So that's one of my big gripes, They say, oh, we won the election. Yeah, you got 63 million votes. Hillary got 66 million. So I figure about 2 million went to vote. They couldn't vote nationwide because at least 200,000. You see, there were 300,000, and this is based on surveys taken of registered voters in Wisconsin early 2016. 9% of them lacked adequate ID. And voter turnout in Wisconsin was 65%. So you figure 200,000 went to vote. They couldn't vote. also what affected Wisconsin, and most of those states are very red states. And so what else was going on is the cross-check done by Chris Kobach. A list of 7.5 million people, made up, their names selected on the base of racial ethnicity and commonness. That is, people like Park, among South Koreans, Lee among Chinese, Smith, Jones, Washington, Lincoln among African Americans, Sanchez, Rodriguez, Gonzalez among Latino Americans, and matching first names, because we're talking about a list of 7.5 million. Now, I've looked at many voter indexes being active on the Democratic Central Committee and compiling slate sheets and endorsement sheets over the years, over the 30-some years I've been active with the committee. I'm a familiar face at the Registrar of Voters. My stuff's on the up and up. I obey the election code. I'm easy to catch. My brother's a deputy DA. I'm law-abiding. No thanks. And the excuses about breaking the law, they don't, ooh, man. So, anyways, I've seen Eduardo Sanchez. There could be 30 of them here in Ed Sanchez. There could be 30 of them here in San Joaquin County, or any number of counties here in California. Then you take it over to Texas. Hey, wait a minute. How all these Ed Sanchez's? Oh, there must be. All these guys would be suspect on the voter on the cross check, and so there were probably hundreds of Ed Sanchez's, and they weren't registered in 2 states. And even if they were, it's that the states are obligated. When Ed moved from Texas to California, he filled out an affidavit of voter registration. On it, he listed where he had been registered in Texas. The Registrar of Voters then contacts the Registrar of Voters in his old county in Texas and says, hey, Ed moved out here. We got his latest affidavit. And the folks in Texas will thank you for doing your duties and informing us. We'll cross them off our lists. And there's certifications that go along with that. And that's how it's legally handled. Now, there's a time lapse. And so Ed might be on the rolls in both states. Well, Chris Kobach comes along and says, Ed, you're registered in both states. You'll vote in both states, so we got to eliminate you from both states. Some states did that, some states didn't. California certainly didn't. The West Coast states didn't. Most blue states didn't, but there's a lot of red states that did. There were guys who moved. There was a guy who moved from Georgia to Alabama, and he lost it in both states. There was a guy who moved up to Wisconsin, then moved back to Illinois. He lost it in both. Well, he had a heck of a time registering because of the draconian voter ID laws. So he gave up trying to live in Wisconsin because he couldn't get registered to vote. So he went back to Illinois and resume life there. That's how bad it is. So that's the system that you set up. Compliments of the Shelby versus the U.S. Justice Department. The voter ID, cross-check, and now we're getting into Shelby County. Well, it started out being funded by Shelby County, but they're a small county in Alabama. So the Koch brothers came along and funded the appeal all the way up to the Supreme Court. Oh, funny, did they think the Supreme Court would rule in their favor? It was Federalist Society appointees. Yeah, of course they did. 5-4 decision. Back in 2013 in cross-check, and there were shenanigans going on before. but they multiplied since then. Crosscheck came along, voter ID came along. And that was brought by the Republican Party. Now, why did they push this stuff? I go back to 1996. Newt Gingrich was tribalizing Americans, accelerating it far more than had occurred under Reagan, under Nixon, driving a wedge. Nixon had a Southern strategy, and that's basically to keep white people in the Republican Party. They're the majority. They were 70% back then. They're only 65% now. Oh, boo-hoo. Hey, white men, you got to figure out what it. I'll explain this in a while. But we're getting back to the causes of Shelby County. And in 96, you're not an American. I was told that by more than one Republican. I was registering voters at the time. A buddy of mine who was also registering voters, he was 74 years old. This is back in 96. I don't think he's with us any longer. But he had been a navigator on B-24s in World War II. He did his 25 combat missions in the 15th Air Force. He flew out of exotic places such as Libya, Tunisia, and Italy in bombing raids. They did one out of Italy. It might have been, mid-1943. They had to fly over the Alps. They had to get some altitude. They flew into Bavaria. And this was a sizable bomber force. B-24s carried 16 500-pound high-explosive bombs for that mission. 20 minutes out from Regensburg, appropriate name, the V-2 missile factory was the target in Regensburg in southern Bavaria at the foot of the Alps. And 20 minutes out, how soon would they're flying at 300 miles per hour. That was the cruising speed of a B-24. A black cloud appeared above the target 20 minutes out. They didn't have a choice. They were going to fly through that. That was flak from 88's air bursting and 40's air bursting at their altitude, their bombing altitude. Oh, no. When they made it through. When they got back to base, they had 300 holes in the B-24. Now, if you want to see a B-24, go down to Castle Air Force Base. They got one down there. And that's what my buddy the navigator flew, and he was told by young Republican men back in 96 he wasn't an American, and he had never served in the armed forces of the United States. His words to me is, I never wanted to kill men so much in my life. Ooh. Well, that's the wedge that was being driven. And it's continued to be driven. Fast forward to 2016 and November 9th, and T-Rump, 3 mil to 5 million illegal aliens voted. I registered voters door to door 6 days a week back in 2016 here in San Joaquin County and down in Stanislaus County in Modesto. And yes, I encountered people here without papers. They didn't register. One family was greatly nerve-wracked. I told them, no word about your situation is going to get out from me. No. No, it won't. I'm not going to tell anybody where that was. And except I'm telling you that it did happen. Another family, it was just the one person there. They had a good laugh about it, and I said, "Hey, don't worry, have a good one." They didn't fill out the paperwork. They didn't register to vote. They knew better. But according to Donald Trump, they did. Now, the following Sunday, Darlene, lovely Darlene, she's Midwestern born and raised, has those good Midwestern values. And she had been married to Lee close to 50 years. It was their last Sunday. They were moving down to San Diego. And she said to me, "Well, don't you believe the president when he said 3 million to 5 million Democrats are illegal aliens?" And I told her, no. I really didn't say anything to her after that because, well, I may well be one myself, even though I got a birth certificate. Well, there's something I kind of thought of. Birth certificate nullification. What had T-Rump been doing from 2011 on? Utilizing the divide. Democrats aren't Americans. Well, of course, Obama was born in Kenya. And the Republicans just went along with it. Now, why would Republicans do that? And because Ronald Reagan introduced beliefs, political beliefs. Up until that time, it was political philosophy. And political philosophy, facts and reasoning. But no, you replace it with beliefs. As Jerry Brown said in his show back in '94, beliefs require no facts. Facts stand on their own, but beliefs require no facts. So you can have political beliefs, they don't rest on facts. Whoa. What happens when you try to discuss politics with someone who has a political philosophy? Well, of course our beliefs don't match. I reserve my beliefs for religion. Politics is philosophy. It deals with facts, conditions, previous practices, governing philosophy, such as, Republicans want to cut taxes and have small government, and Democrats like high taxes on the rich to redistribute wealth based on what? Numbers of 34, the equal distribution of land to all the families, clans, families, and tribes of Israel. And every 50 years, in Leviticus 25, the year of Jubilee, that restored, if you had lost your land, you had to sell it off. You got it back. Now, you had to pay the selling price. No interest, but you had to pay back the selling price over time based on the production you got from your, what it was homesteads. So you had a foundation, since everybody's got equal stakes in society, of egalitarianism. And if you're going to have equality, which democracy requires, you have to have egalitarianism. So that's why Democrats say tax the rich, and Republicans say no, keep taxes low on everybody. So that's an example of governing philosophy. You get back to beliefs. The belief would be amongst Republicans, if you cut taxes, the economy stimulates. Thus, more revenue can be drawn from a stimulated economy. There's one problem with that. It didn't pan out. So, the facts are contrary to the advocated practice, and that's where you have a point of conflict. Now, you might have point of conflict in governing philosophy. So keep it clear, though. Differences. Now, we get back to 2011, Donald Trump, principally white audiences. Hey, Obama was born in Kenya. Oh, no, he wasn't. He finally comes out with his birth certificate. Oh, a long form. We need a long form. Do we really believe it? Well, I don't know. Well, if Obama's birth certificate wasn't believable, why would any Democrat's birth certificate be believable? So the concept of birth certificate nullification is already there amongst you. How do you get that done? Well, I discussed this via emails and phone calls with my brother, who's been practicing law since 1975. And he's a lifelong Republican. He said, well, within the Republican Party, there is opposition to the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. And those came along. It was the Republican Party that principally brought all those. After the Civil War, woo! Boy, have things changed. Well, they don't like them now, but through finagling of what is in those amendments, it's in the interpretations, is how you could ultimately arrive at the justification for the decertifying of birth certificates of members of a political party. It might take quite a few rulings to enable that, but it theoretically could be done. So why would the white man, why do you want to do that, white man? Why? That's pretty bad. You talk about being anti-democracy for all. That pretty much nails it. In order to keep power, to make America great again, through the deprivation of democratic activity by a sizable near majority of the citizenry against the oldest standing party in the world. Wow. Okay, that's your testimony. Now again, 30 million white men voted for Trump. 800,000 black men voted for Trump. That was 1 in every 13. Among black women, it was only 1 in every 16. Among Latinas, it was 1 in every 4. The other 3 voted for Hillary. Among Latinos, Latin males, it was 2 out of 3 for Hillary, 1 out of 3 for Trump. Asians were 4 out of 5 for Hillary. White men, 2 to 1. For every 1 that voted for Hillary, 2 voted for Trump. White women, 27 million, 52%. Only 41% voted for Hillary, and that's out of a population of 80 million white women. They went to the polls at 70%. So you figure, let's see, 10% of 80 million is 8 million. 24 million white women did not vote on or before November 8th, 2016. And 40% of the voting population of 56, 70%, 7 times 8, 56 million, 40, basically 4 times wait a minute. 27 million voted for Trump, around 20 million voted for Hillary. Not a good scene, because Trump is such a rightist. And that is where your heads are at. Now, this is where I started making, months ago, thinking up one-liners basically to go on road signs. And 1042. And it was I put these up around the county, and the first one was impeach the whoremonger, vote Democratic. I put that up over on Harlan Road down in Lathrop. It stayed up about 10 days. I put up 3 other signs in Lathrop, and how they've fared, I'm not sure. I put 5 signs up in Tracy, 3 more over in Manteca, and 4 up in Lodi, and 3 here in Stockton. And so I had my fun. Started out with white man, and then ended up with vote Democratic. Ooh, why did I aim right at them? Because I know that's what the core of the Republican Party is. I figure 25 million white men, 20 to 22 million white women, and 3 million at the most minority adults will be voting for Republicans for Congress and the U.S. Senate where they can, here in these United States. I hope the numbers aren't that high, but because I've been a Democrat since the end of 1986. I was a Republican. I had first registered back in March of 74, and as a Republican, and pretty much voted my party line. Except I voted for Jess Unruh when he was running for treasurer and such like. And there were other Democrats I voted for occasionally. But by the end of 86, Iran-Contra became evident, and that Ronald Reagan and his cohorts had paid off the Iranians to hold the hostages through the election, and because they offered him $2 billion, whereas the Carter administration was only offering $1 billion. So they gave a wink and a nod to the Reagan folks, and that was the October surprise. And since Carter couldn't free him, it would take Reagan to free him, and so white people especially, oh yeah, strong on national defense. I voted for Reagan twice. I voted for Duke Majan twice. Took me a while to learn. Oh boy, I should have been a Democrat starting in March of '78, when it became evident that the Republican Party philosophy of taxation and mine were not in cahoots. I voted no on 13. And so I should have become a Democrat then on one of the most fundamental of issues. As far as strong on national defense, well, it took me a while to finally figure out, the Republicans were wrong on insisting and fighting the Vietnam War. And so really what that was a war fought on false pretenses, as was the Iraq War. And who was the driving force behind that ultimately? You look into the population, and a little too much masculine-oriented, a little too much white male. Back then, I don't know the numbers as I know them today. The Southern strategy started back then. back in '64. I knew Goldwater was right on, an up or down vote on the Vietnam War, but I just feared, the down vote's not going to get argued adequately. I knew the Republicans were wrong. Goldwater brought it out on civil rights. You got to have justice for all. A lot of history has come and gone since then, but the fundamentals are still there. The Republicans are against the Voting Rights Act. That was passed by bipartisan support, was renewed with bipartisan support through 2006. And it passed in '65. I remember it on the TV in June of '65. It was a beautiful ceremony in the Oval Office. We have 1047 here at the Voice of Stockton, coming to you over kxvs.org. I am Richard Slezak. This is a commentary on the white man and the coming election. And, if there's white men listening, who are on the fence right now, I've been on the Democratic Central Committee for 30 years. I hope you're voting Democratic. As for those who are in the Democratic Party, vote, and get other people to vote as well. And that's 1 in 5. That leaves 4 others. Basically, we're looking at 2 and 2. 2 aren't going to vote and 2 are going to vote Republican. But that would make then the number 40 million. So I don't think the number's going to be that high. So, 1 in 3 white men are going to be voting Republican. And 1 in 4, hopefully, you'll be voting Democratic. That still leaves, 25% plus 35%, is 60%. That's 40% who won't even be voting. And that's sad. That's sad. A white man, you were given a republic back on September 17th. Hey, 231 years and 1 month ago. Now, there were other free men, but it was 98% white men. And the 40% of you aren't going to be voting in this coming election. That's sad. That's sad. You are to govern. You were given a republic. You're to govern. You're to have a philosophy of governing. You don't have to do it full time, but you got to know what you want government to do and how you want it to do it, and standards. Be a good citizen. That's what I encourage you to be. The good book states, "Call no man a fool, for the wrath of God shall be harsh upon you." It also states, "The heart of man is evil above all else." Now, it's Matthew 5:22 for the first part. It's somewhere in Psalms for the second, so that's very Judaic. It doesn't let you off the hook. Ignorance of the law, ignorance of conditions. When it comes to citizen obligation of governing, which is what white man is exactly what you, more than anyone else in the society, has, you're not carrying it out when you don't vote. You might not be doing it very well, as far as I'm concerned, when you vote Republican or Libertarian, but at least you're doing something in that regard. It's not a lot to ask for. So it's just irksome that, 20 million for Democrats, 25 million for Republicans. That's 45 million, leaving 30 to 31 million not voting. Not good, you 31 million. I'd like you voting Democratic. Look into both. Look into the parties and look into the candidates. and learn what you can about them, and then vote accordingly. Talk to people of a variety, at least half a dozen for an hour, give it 6 hours, and you'll be better off that way. All righty. Now, let me get to some, see, I'm kind of moving papers around here and not keeping track as well as I should be. Oh, okay. We have around 10:52, and so we call it covered the numbers, covered the population, voter, non-voter, white male. All righty. I guess I wrote some mean things, and some people got offended, and that's why they tore the signs down. And so I'm going to share with you some of the naughty, mean things that I put on signage around the county, focusing at white manhood. And here's some of hey, Whitey, I can smell your moral turpitude, for you voted for Trump. It gets back to the evil, You want Muslims on a list? Well, then there goes their freedom of religion. And, I know a lot of you, are these atheists now that don't have any religion. You're not Unitarian. You're not Buddhist. I'd sure like you to get into those. Get some humanity about yourself. No religion, no politics is a cold existence. That's a type of person that's kind of, oh man, what happened to you? Oh my. It's that's rough. And there was a House Resolution 40 back in February 28, 17. Well, not good. The NRA, oh man, taking money from the Russians so that, your gun culture can remain in place. And, oh man, does that make you separate from other human beings? Try to see the world through the barrel of a gun. That's one of the driving forces that keeps white men, just clinging to voting Republican. Those Democrats want to take our guns away. Read the Constitution. Realize that for 180 years, gun restrictions, yeah, because gun owners were expected to be, absolutely law-abiding. Because ultimately, you're the ones that be drafted into the Army to bring your weapons, or into the sheriff's posse. And got into some other themes here. And Republican white man, there is no justice in you. Kavanaugh, bad. Republican justice is oppression of the many and privilege for the few. Kavanaugh, through and through. Republican justice is privilege for the few and oppression of the rest. Get off the privilege kick. It's only obvious. There's no justice in you when you're on it. If Trump is how you govern, white man, get respectable, vote Democratic. Mighty Whitey, the master race, stop the meth, Okie, vote Democratic. Woo! That meth, makes you Superman, doesn't it? Hey, behind Trump, it's zesty. The porno president. Look at how the the obfuscates, and oh man, all those people just, oh, Mr. Trump, you're so great, like Kanye. Stand behind Trump. Hey, what? Mickey D's, KFC? Trump wants privilege. Hey, he talked about the privilege to murder, gunning down somebody in Times Square at random. Do you think that cascade down to your followers? What's that stuff about? That's pretty sick. Oh, we just had a journalist murdered. He casts aspersions, disdain for a free press, for the press, hates the press. And then a journalist gets murdered by the Saudis. And, we'll look into it. We don't know for sure. You got guys like Jim Jordan. He's supposed to be just wonderful, huggable Jim Jordan instead of Nancy Pelosi. If you vote Republican, that Jim Jordan's what you want as House Speaker. And man, that's SS. Oh my. Donald Delirium Tremor Trump. White man. To God ultimately you go, so vote Democratic, for that is what is morally justified. And just going over some of the one-liners. 4 out of 5 white men voted for Gary Johnson, Donald Trump, or Jill Stein, or didn't vote at all. You're full of malarkey. None of your excuses work, and you know it. Oh my, this one went up in Lathrop, right there at the fertilizer plant. 6 and 17 white people are authoritarian, bigots, corporatists, and profligate. Oh my, my, my. Oh, there was one I put up at Center and Lafayette. White man oppressor opposite liberal, conservative opposite profligate. Vote Democratic. Roman and Judaic standards. That's what needed to be applied. That's what the grand bargain between the white man and the society was to be. White man was to have opportunities in a capitalist society, in a capitalist economy that was regulated to some degree. Corporations were, they could only do their charter, and they only lasted 7 years when the Republic was founded. That was up until the Erie Canal Company got one for 20 years. So when the country started, the white man was expected to be the fireman, the jailer, the member of the posse as needed by the elected sheriff, a soldier. He was expected to be industrious and expected to marry and procreate, keep the kids in the family. Those were Roman Judaic standards. Yes, and to vote, to care about how you're governed and to put good people into government offices. And so you forgot about the grand bargains. If you can get drafted, you got voting rights. Pretty weird to restrict it to owning property. Gun nut culture, all you bring is death. Vote Democratic. Here's a harsh one I didn't write up. Whitey, you are a disgrace to the human race, believing political myths and falsehoods, regurgitating those and voting accordingly. Change. Vote Democratic. White man, prove you are more than a field beast. Vote Democratic. White man, what political issue are you honest on? When it's all beliefs, it can be anything. They don't have to be facts, just beliefs. need honesty. Got 11 o'clock here at the Voice of Stockton. It's Slezak on the White Man, 10/13/18 edition, and they're the driving force of conservatives. They are the conservatives. What do they conserve? Not a whole lot. What do they liberate? Ooh, they like those Muslim lists. They want that wall. Nope, that's profligacy. Nope, that's oppression. So, yeah, that's I know that's kind of harsh, and I know that that kind of upsets some people. The Republican Party's over 90% white, 95%. Stand with Wall Street, Russia, and Trump. Is that what you're doing? Care for the earth, country, and neighbor. Vote Democratic, white man. Hey, would you want a rally where there's free meth and free bullets? Oh, boy. Would that get the white man to the rally? White man, do you have a thing for Mr. Trump? Ooh. Trump's base is the master race. 1 in 3 white men, 1 in 4 white women. Outvote them. Vote Democratic. That went up somewhere on the 15th. I think down in Tracy. White man, care and empathy are good. Have those. Vote Democratic. Tax all income for Social Security. Vote Democratic. Sing Singer Corcoran for Trump by December 31st, 2019. Ooh, we evaded taxes. That came out obvious last week. Redneck Psycho. No, don't like them. Republicanism is an amalgam of myths, lies, and half-truths concocted to concentrate wealth in the hands of a few. That needs a big sign. The fascist pigs are authoritarian, bigoted corporatists and profligate. I wanted to bring out Lizardo and Lizardine. Putin Trump or Trump Putin. Yep. Lizardo and Lizardine. Cold-blooded, fork-tongued. Oh, the temperature of the Republican woman. Her heart temperature? 3 degrees Kelvin. Look up Kelvin. Uses a Celsius scale. Yep. Where there is nothing in the universe. Not even dark energy. Ooh, it's 3 degrees Kelvin. Ah! Why do the Jews complain? Vasa or Zyklon B? Zyklon B. There they go screaming, oh, how disgusting. Trump is fascism. Vote Democratic, white man. Oh, I got on an Uncle Hobart kick. Oh, Uncle Hobart. Oh, he's the mountain man that survived didn't get the arrow early in the movie, but he was hunting those other white men because he was up there. He was the psychopathic, homosexual hillbilly, alienated from society. Why do you like the mass shootings, white man? That's really sick. If you are a minority, one of those 3 million, how do you handle fascist conformity? Clacks, klutz, help glow the lobotomy. 1968, 2018, 50 years ago. But things, hey, I was glad I was alive then. I'm glad I'm alive now. Now here's one I put up in Lodi, foreign aid, Putin helping Republicans keep those House and U.S. Senate seats. Putin helps Trump, 2016. Nixon helped Pinochet, 1973. It goes around, comes around. We send out fascism, we get fascism back. Hey, Trump Whitey, Black and brown, you are to wear no crown. This is America, Whitey, and Whitey, the Republicans want no black or brown to vote. If you do not vote or vote Republican, you are inhumane. You are separated children from parents at the Tex-Mex border. Ooh, that was a nasty one. Going through my stuff here. White man obstinate on global warming. Man, that's bad. Why you obstinate on global warming? You know it's science. You know it's right. The Romans had public schools. White man, why do you shoot up ours? That went up, right? McKinley and Louise. That, and hope it stays up. Alrighty. We got 11:07. And this has been Slezak on the White Man, 10/13, 2018 edition. So, you know how I want you to vote. Being a Democrat and all. And I know that some of you might find that upsetting. But, hey, that's where I'm at. Morally, scientifically, historically justified. Glad to reason it out with people. Wish there was more than one party that was loyal to democracy and to the rule of law and to justice for all and democracy for all. It is the Democratic Party. I know the Greens want to be that way. They just don't have big numbers. But I know the Republicans don't, and I know the Libertarians will just whistle like nothing's happening. But a lot is happening. So vote come November 6th. On or by November 6th. White man, you were given the Republic. So it's in your hands. And, have something that you can, a philosophy that is defendable and that you can proselytize. And you don't need a gun to bring it. Don't look at the world through the barrel of a gun. Have some humanity about you. De-alienate yourself. Realize that there's others and we must bring everyone along with justice if we're to have a successful society. So, leave you with that, and we'll be talking to you in a few. This has been what is normally the Saturday evening news, but what was tonight was Slezak on the White Man, 10/13/18 edition. Have a good evening. All righty. That was the recorded portion of the show, and I'll just kind of look up what's going on the ning doo-doo. I got 11:08 here at the Voice of Stockton. And let me put away this, my show, and that'll take a few minutes here. It says it'll take 7 minutes. Okay, that's going to be a few minutes. And so follow facts. Reason on the facts. One of my favorite people to watch or listen to, he did kind of a sad thing. He was trying to be a Christian. He gave up on it. Now, he's gay. You might know him. His name's Carell. And he's been having shows on, he used to be on KGO about 10 years ago, and he's been doing better now. He's got shows going on Free Speech TV. Well, the last episode I saw of his of the Carell Life and segments, he was going to burn Bibles. The trouble is, Bible or Quran, a Bhagavad Gita, a Nag Hammadi, which is the writings of the Gnostics. They do contain facts. The Nag Hammadi, maybe not a whole lot, but it explains things. And when you burn a book, you lose the explanation, you lose the facts, you lose the perspective. And that's really an evil thing to do. It puts you right down there with the Nazis, and you're definitely not any kind of thoughtful, civilized person. And you don't help pull the society together. You just keep it fractured. You just cause more consternation. So never burn a book. Just give it away. The books aren't printed as much as they used to, and they're important to, you read it cover to cover, you get the complete ideas, the complete thought outness that's in the book. Whereas you don't get that, reading a page at a time or one-liners. And so, don't burn books. And it's like, I don't want to follow somebody or really pay them a whole lot of attention who burns books. That's a bad thing. They need to get a bit more sociable. And so, alrighty. I'm going to, whoops. And, oh my. Let's, I'm just going to get a weather report in here. Oh, plus I'll have to, .gov, National Weather Service. Bam. Excuse me for a moment. I'm not going very far. All right, we're back. Oh, my. Now, over the Northeast, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, New England states, we have a nice kind of a sea blue, a medium blue, and that looks to be, oh God, hard freeze warning. That's the dark blue. Oh, that's over. Hard freeze warning is over the Columbia Valley, Snake River Valley, Jefferson County, Oregon, up along the Oregon Cascades, the Alps up there, if you will. Looking more winter weather advisory. That's kind of a bluish, and that looks in western Kansas, Texas, North Texas, Amarillo area, western Nebraska, Colorado, eastern Colorado, southwest Wyoming. Also, there's winter storm warnings in central Colorado, in New Mexico and Wyoming. North of us and in East San Bernardino County, up in the Sacramento Valley, is a wind advisory, looks to be. Nothing really for our area. There's a few red spots, red flag warnings. And on the north coast, it looks like small craft advisory for winds. Okay, let's, and for the east, frost advisory. Yeah, and that's also south central Michigan. And let's look up our local weather. And we got 11:15 p.m. here at the Voice of Stockton. Howdy to all those out there on Facebook and YouTube. And as of 10:55 p.m. down at Stockton Airport, we got fair weather at 63 degrees, humidity at 50%, wind is calm. Barometer is 29.8 inches of mercury. It'll be clear tonight, sunny tomorrow with a high of 82, low tonight of 56. Sunday night, clear with a low of 53. Monday, sunny with a high of 82. Monday night, clear, low of 54. Tuesday, sunny with a high of 81. Tuesday night, clear with a low of 56. Wednesday, sunny with a high of 81. Wednesday night, low of 55 degrees. And let's just go to w.mlb.com and that should just Turner a Game 2 hero once again. Justice Turner ended Game 2 of the NLCS with a homer this year. He evened the series for Los Angeles. And so, let's see. Game 2 is going to be, okay, this is going to be on Sunday at 4:09 our time on TBS. Then Game 3, Monday night at 4:39 p.m. on Fox Sports 1 will be the Brewers versus the Dodgers. Game 3 on Tuesday of the American League Championship Series will be at 2:09 our time on TBS. Game 4 of the Brewers-Dodgers series will be at 6:09 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. So, if you can't get those on TV, KNBR was broadcasting them today. And let's see. Yeah, it was 7-2 that the Astros beat the team from Boston. Oops, the Red Sox. The Dodgers beat the Brewers 4-3. And so we have, that's, let's see, anything else? World Series tiebreaker. A postseason. Let's see. That series is tied 1-1. Okay. All righty. Let's get show logs up here. And just keeping the folks on the YouTube and Facebook tuned in. Howdy. And looking for my used to be Olivet. And this takes a while to track it down. Yeah, there, oh yeah. And here we go. Gonna put in the show 2018-10-13, and we started at, let's get the feet are feeling better today. Glad to report it. Got my wide boots on, so feet are feeling good. My kind of fall winter boots. Schard, and just putting in the show log right here, and SOLO, and just give it the title. Lezak, Slezak, on the white man 10/13/18 started show with sponsors, then announced political commentary of my own, comma, not stations, white male devotion, just gonna put white male devotion to Republicans with one line, with one-liners. All right. And whoop. With one-liners at myths and ethos. On myths oh, I misspelled myths. Mythed. Oh man. On MYTH. On myths. And why do you shoot up our schools, white man? The Romans had public schools. So, I'm not getting you. You know, some people say, "Oh, you're calling us ignorant." No, 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 no. You follow myths and those ethics. Woo, leave a lot to be desired. Ethic, you know, to the rule of law. Nah, privilege, dude. You know it. So that's what I'm going to leave up there. I'm going to get regular programming back on here. Oh, first I got to, well, let me go with the regular programming. But first I got to, whoops, get up this, got to go off the Facebook and YouTube. So saying a good evening to you.